On this video, I'm going to get down 5 stages of awareness. Now, what actually is the 5 stages of awareness? Well, it's pretty simple. There is 5 stages in the 5 stages of awareness. It comes down to problem aware, solution aware, offer aware, and decision aware. Now, the awareness funnel, right? The whole importance of the awareness funnel is to understand the fact that any type of marketing, any type of offer, any type of copywriting that you ever do, whether you're writing content, whether you're making some sort of presentation slide, whether you're making some sort of landing page, you're building a landing page, maybe you're building a funnel, maybe you're, whatever you're doing that involves psychology and, actually being able to convert someone into a buyer or convert someone into a lead or basically just convert someone in general. The 5 stages of awareness is extremely important for you to understand. It's an extremely important principle in marketing and concept that you really just need to dissect and internalize in your mind so that you can, again, convert anyone from first touch point into a buyer or into a lead or basically into a buyer, right? And that is the entire purpose of the awareness funnel. Um, so people usually start at the top, or maybe your ICP starts right here at problem aware. But let's just say someone starts at the top, right? They're unaware of the fact that they have a problem. That is problem unaware. They're unaware of the fact that they have a problem. And at the end, they are decision aware, meaning they're ready to act and buy your offer. But there's a couple of things that need to happen, and there's a certain sequence that people go through when it comes to the awareness funnel, right? So, starting off with problem aware or problem unaware. This is where people are basically unaware of the fact that they have a problem worth solving. Um, you need to avoid being straight up with the fact that they have a problem because human psychology, right? People just don't like to be told that they have a problem. They like to find out for themselves, or it's a lot easier for them to realize that they have a problem and admit the fact that they have a problem if they're not being forced or they're not being directly told that they have a problem because human psychology, people don't like to be told what their problem is. Um, we're much more likely to figure out what our problem is by, being indirectly, um, I guess, lured into it or realizing it. But you will chase them away if you tell them what their problem is, up front to their face directly. This is why you must capture their attention and pique curiosity with storytelling, maybe curiosity sparking information. And when it comes to storytelling, let's just say, for example, if someone has a weight loss problem where, you know, they're, they don't realize that being overweight is going to lead to a heart attack. So let's just leave with that problem. They're unaware of the fact that they have a problem, which is being overweight, which can lead to a heart attack. Now, if you want to capture their attention and pique curiosity, you can come in with some sort of story where you're saying, "Hey, this person was 40 pounds overweight, and out of nowhere, right before they, went to bed, they had a heart attack." And that sort of piques people's curiosity because now they're seeing like, hey, this is an actual true story. This actually happened to somebody else. And if this happened to somebody else, then it can also happen to me because I'm also overweight. Curiosity sparking information as well. So, for example, if you have some sort of scientific research, like some sort of like science that you can show people, like for example, this scientific case study broke down the fact that majority of people who are 40 pounds overweight are 10 times more likely to die from a heart attack and decrease their overall lifespan by 10 years, for example. That is a pure example of how you can capture people's attention when they're unaware of their problem. Now, once you make them aware of their problem, now they are problem aware. Now, problem aware, they now know they have a problem worth solving, but you must agitate that problem. And by agitating the problem, you must dig more pain into that problem. So, for example, if someone is 40 pounds overweight, you need to make them feel pain by dissecting the fact that, hey, you being overweight is one, going to lead to a heart attack. Two, it's most likely making you insecure and removing your overall confidence in yourself and in your skin. And three, your overall quality of life is not going to be, you know, the way you want it to be. Your overall quality of life is going to suffer. Now, you must also demonstrate empathy, and by empathy, it's different from sympathy because sympathy, this is a sales principle actually, but sympathy is when you're very sorry for someone in this situation, but you don't really do anything to, help them solve it. Empathy is understanding someone's situation. You're putting yourself in their shoes and you're brainstorming a solution, um, for them and for their specific situation. Um, so, for example, it can be like, "Hey, I understand why you might feel scared of the consequences of being overweight, or I understand how you were led to be overweight." Um, you must also validate their experiences. For example, if they're overweight, they might have had experiences where they were insecure, where they felt like they were the only ones in the room, where they were, how would I say it, experiences where they were just they felt powerless, sort of, and they felt unconfident in themselves. They just didn't feel like themselves, right? And that's because of the fact that they're overweight. Um, you must also educate them on why it's happening. So, for example, why are you overweight? Well, you're overweight because of one, the foods that you eat. Even the quote unquote healthy foods are not actually healthy for you. Two, you must, well, yeah, one, it's most likely because of the foods you eat. Two, it's most likely because you don't exercise and train your body. Three, it's most likely because your environment is not supporting your, I guess, health and weight loss. Um, and number five, you must help them realize the long-term consequences. So again, being overweight can lead to a heart attack in the long term, and it can decrease your overall lifespan by 10 years. And it's just, there's a lot of problems that go into, being overweight. So the whole purpose of this stage is for you to spark a sense of urgency in people so that they can finally realize, like, hey, I actually need to find a solution to this problem. Because if I don't find the solution, that's, if I don't solve this problem, then I'm going to face these consequences in the long term, and that's going to be very painful. So I'd rather take action now than wait until it's too late, right? So that is problem unaware to problem aware. Now we move to solution aware. So now they're aware of, what the solution actually is. They're obviously aware of their problem and, why they must solve it, what the consequences are, why it's happening, etc., etc. So they're aware of what the solution is. Like, for example, the solution is now to train your body. The solution is to eat healthy, whole foods, proper foods. And the solution is to also optimize your environment so that your environment can work for you and support your growth without you having to fight against it. So now that they're aware of what the solution is and why all other solutions are just noise, you need to, again, make sure you address all potential solutions. So, for example, common or some extreme solutions to, I guess, losing weight can come down to surgery, where people get surgery to, I guess, cut off their fat, which is very stupid. I'll be honest. Another example of a solution that people tend to go to is starving themselves. Starving yourself to hopefully lose weight is not healthy, and it's not ideal for you in the short term or the long term. And another potential solution is to do cardio, intense cardio for hours every single day, and just kill yourself basically. Um, and those are all potential solutions that just are not effective in the long term. So, number two, now you must address their current substituted solution. So, again, these are referencing the potential solutions that are out there, but you need to understand who your ICP is so that you can, like, sort of understand what they're trying to do right now at this current moment to solve this problem. And when you understand what it is that they're trying to do at this current moment to solve this problem, you can then address that substituted solution that they're trying to make something out of. And then you can come in and compare your solution or your new opportunity and why your solution or new opportunity is superior to their current solution, that their current substituted solution. So it's kind of like a funnel in a funnel. You address all potential solutions, you address their current substituted solution, aka the thing that they're doing right now, and then you compare all of this to your solution or your new opportunity and why your solution is superior or better than all of these other solutions or options. So now they understand why your solution works and how it can benefit them, but they're unaware of your offer. And when it comes to your offer, this is basically your how you deliver your solution, right? So the solution, for example, is to exercise your body, right? Or train your body. Or the solution can also be to walk 10,000 steps every single day. But your offer is how you actually deliver that solution. So let's jump into that. Now, offerware. They know you offer this solution, but they're not fully bought into your unique mechanism or your process. So your unique mechanism or process is exactly how it sounds like. If you were to start all over again from zero, whatever your expertise is or whatever your transformation was, how would you start over again from zero, right? That is your unique mechanism or your unique process. And this is what makes you stand out. And this is what sort of differentiates you from your competitors in the market. Now, they're also not fully bought into why your offer is better than others. Need to sort of throw rocks at your enemies or throw rocks at your competitors. And the way you do that is by comparing your offer to your competitors' offers and comparing and contrasting, the two different things so that people can see that, hey, your offer is 10 times better than this other competitor's offer. And here's why, right? And then number three, they're not fully bought into whether or not it'll work for them specifically, and if it's even worked for others. So, and your goal here is to build trust in your solution or build trust in your offer and why it's the best option out there. So let me fix that. But yeah, you just want to make people see that, hey, your solution is actually the best solution out there. Your offer is the best offer out there. And again, the way you do that is by leveraging your unique mechanism or process, stating why your offer is better than others, and actually showing people why it's better than others or different from others. I'm going to add that it can be better or different, and whether or not it'll actually work for them, and if it's even worked for other people. So that is offer aware. Now, decision aware is the very last one, right? Most people put most aware, but I changed it to decision aware. So now they're actually ready to act and buy your offer. They see you as the best option in the market. They trust in your ability to deliver. And again, they see you as the best option because you compared and contrasted your offer to your competitors. They trust in your ability to deliver because you broke down your unique mechanism and process behind how you will actually get someone their desired result. Like you actually dissected your process behind how how you're going to deliver a transformation to people. And number three, they actually believe that your offer is perfect for them. And you do this by making them see, like, hey, this is going to work for you. And it's also worked for other people as well. So that is where, you know, building belief in your offer comes in. So now they just need a final nudge or a final push over the edge so that they can actually, buy the offer. Because there's a couple things holding them back. So in order for you to actually, push them over the edge and finally lock in them as a client or a customer, you need to focus on your perceived value, right? So perceived value, this is a core concept in $100 million offers. Basically, instead of, persuading someone into believing that your offer is the best because of its price or because of, whatever, you're kind of like value stacking. So value stacking, right? You're making your offer seem so irresistible and so like, irresistible to say no to that it makes people feel like, wow, this is definitely an offer that I should at least look into or at least try out and purchase for myself because of everything else that I'm getting on top of just this one thing, right? So, for example, if you're selling some sort of coaching offer, you can value stack by giving people a private community. You can give them a full step-by-step course. You can also give them some sort of playbook, some sort of checklist, maybe some sort of launch guide or launch pad, whatever it is. Maybe some sort of journal, whatever would help them achieve their result as fast as possible. That's really how you maximize your perceived value, right? So again, it's about making your offer seem very irresistible and just value stacking, adding more value to your offer. Um, you're guaranteeing risk reversal. This is very important. If if people somehow don't manage to get a result by working with you, or if they don't get the result by buying your product or service, whatever it is, um, you need to help them build more belief, or you need to, I guess, lower their guard by helping them see like, hey, even if this doesn't work out for you, or if you don't really end up liking this the way you thought you would, you can we will offer you a 7-day money back guarantee, on the house. Or you can say, hey, if we don't get you this result within the next 30 days, then we will continue working with you for free. Or another one can be, hey, if we don't get you at least $5,000 added in monthly recurring revenue, then we will refund your money. We will provide you with a full refund, and on top of that, we will also offer you whatever your service is. So, for example, you can say we will give you a full refund, and we will also give you 30 free shorts on top of that. We will also give you um, one free funnel on top of that. We will also give you, um, I guess, a free sales rep on top of that, or whatever your offer is, whatever makes more sense. You just want to lower their guard and I guess help them see like, hey, there's no risk in buying this offer, and even if we don't get you the result, or if you don't get the result, then we're going to make sure that you still walk away with some sort of value in return. So number three, you also want to focus on doubling down urgency, right? So urgency is all about helping people see that, hey, if nothing happens now, then nothing's ever going to happen, right? If this problem keeps going the way it's been going, then things are just not going to turn out the way they're supposed to. This is why you need to double down on urgency. Help them see that if nothing changes soon, then their life is going to crumble, right? And the whole point of urgency again is to really just make people act. Like, you just want to make people see like, hey, I need to act on this now, and if I don't act on this now, then the only person that's going to be affected is me. It's not going to be the one selling the offer, it's going to be me, right? So that's number three, double it down on urgency. Number four, social proof and credibility. um, And again, for doubling down on urgency, it's really just about, having the hard conversation and being comfortable with saying the hard thing, or like having the difficult conversation with someone, right? Very important. And it's a core principle in sales as well. You want to spark urgency whenever you're trying to sell something, because if there's no urgency when you're trying to sell something, then the other prospect or your prospect is not going to be as bought into your offer, your solution, or they're just not gonna, I guess, be as motivated to make a change if they feel there's no sense of urgency. So, social proof and credibility. Um, Social proof and credibility, again, very important concept to understand that in human psychology, humans usually, or the human brain usually is more attracted towards something that other people have, gone through. For example, let's take two mazes, right? If one maze is a dead land, like nobody's ever gone through that maze, compared to the other maze next to it, where 500 people have gone through the maze and successfully, found their way out. Which one are you much more likely to go down, right? Are you much more likely to go down the maze where nobody has gone yet? Or are you much more likely to go down the maze where 500 people have gone through? Now, I will be honest, some people are different. Me personally, I honestly would go down the maze that no one's gone through because I just like to be a pioneer. But in marketing, majority of people are most likely going to choose maze B, which is, the maze that 500 other people have gone through. And that's because of safety and I wouldn't say credibility, but it's really just about safety, right? People want to feel safe when they're, I guess, going through something or when they're buying something that they have never bought before or they've never gone through before. So, social proof and credibility, very important. You see that everywhere now. And lastly, handling objections, frequently asked questions, and last minute concerns. So, very important thing to understand here. You want to pre-handle people's objections before let's say, for example, you're pitching people on a call, on the strategy call, right? They might have a couple objections before hopping on the call. Like, for example, how much does this cost? Is this even right for me? Um, how is this going to help me? Whatever, objections people have, you want to pre-handle those objections before whatever, call, or before whatever thing you're offering is. So there's also frequently asked questions that people might have about what you're selling, right? Like, for example, how does this work? Who is this for? What kind of results can I see? How fast will I see results? These are sort of different from objections, right? Because objections are, statements and questions that stop people from buying. Frequently asked questions are simply questions that, you know, help someone. It basically helps someone like confirm that this is a product or this is a service that they must buy, or that they want to buy, and they just, want to have some of their questions answered before they actually make a decision. And then last minute concerns, simply just, any last minute concerns that people might have about your offer, your product, whatever it is. For example, is there a warranty? Is there a money back guarantee? Have other people bought this? Whatever it is. Have other people seen results with this? You can kind of see, like, you can kind of understand what the difference are, or what the difference is between these three things. But that is pretty much everything when it comes down to the awareness funnel. A very important concept to understand in marketing, because if you're any sort of marketer, copywriter, especially salesman as well, this applies to everything. It applies to sales, it applies to marketing, it applies to content, it applies to just everything in general when it comes down to converting someone to a buyer, right? Um, anytime you're converting someone into a buyer, into a lead, maybe you're even submitting some sort of application or presentation, you can still use the awareness funnel to your advantage, so that you can, use psychology to your advantage and, I guess, get what you want. But that is pretty much everything for this video. If you have any questions, just feel free to DM me on Instagram. Join the private Discord that I've got if you have any, questions about marketing, sales, content, personal branding, funnels, copywriting, conversions in general. And yeah, I guess stay tuned for the next video.